Hello, it's Todd, your logic tutor. Continuing on with our proofs in natural deduction. They're starting to get a little bit harder now. All right, so let's look at this one. We need to prove K, and we've got these 5 premises. And we look around and we see there's a K on line 2. Now it's part of a disjunction, so we've got something like blah or K. So what we need is a not blah to get the K by disjunctive syllogism. So what we need is the opposite of that first disjunct. So what we need is L and not M or O. Okay, now I don't see that anywhere, but I'm thinking, because this is or O, that I could just add on or O if I could get to L and not M. And I can get to L and not M if I have an L, and if I have an M, I can just put them together by conjunction. So let's think about that. Let's go after the L first. I notice that there is an L and a consequent on line 3, which tells me let's go get a Q and do a modus ponens. But I notice there's an L on line 5 and a consequent. So when I see that, I think to myself, I need a simple dilemma. So what I would need is a disjunction of the two antecedents, Q and R. So I need the disjunction Q or R to do the simple dilemma, and look, it's right there on line 1. So we're going to use 1, 3, and 5 to get 6, which is just L. 1, 3, 5, and that's a simple dilemma. So now I got my L. Now I need a not M, which is in line 4. And it's free and clear, so we can just put L and not M together. L and not M from 4 and 6 by conjunction. Now remember, I'm trying to make this big disjunct down here, so I need an or O, and that's easy enough to do because it says or, so we can simply add it. Oops, that's supposed to be an or O, from 7 by addition. So now this, what we have on line 8, is the opposite of the disjunct on 2 up here. So we can do a disjunctive syllogism. I'll skip a line down here to get K from 2 and 8 by ds. And we're done. All right, let's try another. Okay. Prove W. We've got 5 premises. Right off the bat, I find my W down here in 4, but it's also down here in 5. So what I'm thinking is I need to do a simple dilemma, and I need R or S, the disjunction R or S, to do a simple dilemma to get me a W. And notice, I don't see an R or an S, but I see its opposite right there in line 3 in an antecedent. So I can get RS from line 3 if I have the opposite of the consequent, which would be A and not X. I don't see A and not X, but I'm sure that I can build it using 1 and 2. First, let's get the A from line 1 by simplification. And now, look, remember I'm after A and not X, so I've got a not X in line 2, so I'm just going to put them together. That's 6 and 2 by conjunction. And now, 7 is the opposite of the consequent on 3, so by modus tollens I get the opposite of the antecedent on line 3, so I get R or S, so that's 3 and 7 modus tollens. And now I got that R and S because remember, 4 and 5 I was ready to do a simple dilemma, so 4, 5, and 8 get me W. 4, 5, and 8, and that's a simple dilemma. Get me W. Okay, time for another. Prove A. This is a very important problem. Oh, nope, it's not what I thought it was looking at it. Look for an A, don't see it, but I find a not A in an antecedent, which is good enough. All I have to do is get the opposite of the consequent. I need to get a Q, and I can do a modus tollens. Well, look over here, there's a Q. What do I need? I need a B, since this is a conditional, and I can get a B from 1 if I can find a Z, because I need the opposite. Well, I don't see a Z, but I could get one out of line 2 if I had a not W and used modus tollens, and I do. So look at 2 and 4. 2 and 4 are going to get me Z, 2, 4, modus tollens. And with that Z, look at line 1, and I can get a B from 1 and 6, disjunctive syllogism. And what was I going to use that B for? I was going to use it to get a Q from line 3. So Q from 3 and 7, modus ponens, I believe. And I was going to use the Q on line 5 to get an A. So 5 and 8, modus tollens, and we're done.